Hi everybody. It is about 4:30 and I've had a rough day, but I thought I'd pop on here because it's been a few months. It's been a couple months since I've said anything about Ryan because I've not been following him that closely. Everything got kind of way too juvenile and toxic for me back in the winter, and a lot of the fans got way too irritated. They got more focused on choosing a side as opposed to kind of looking at the environment that was being created and saying, I can't make this better for him, but I can look at it and learn for myself. And so I kind of pulled away there for a little while and kind of let things chill for a little bit. And I really have still, played the music and enjoyed the music, but I just was not enjoying being part of what was going on this winter in his world. And then I noticed today that earlier he had done a video, and I've not been like keeping up with him or anything. I've just kind of took a break, and y'all know that I stay worried about this young man. I worry about him. We've kind of had a tit for tat on YouTube where we kind of keep up with each other, and he's shared some of my videos and responded. And hi Cindy, and he's been very sweet and kind to me. But what happened this winter was really kind of, for me, it just got way too toxic. And so when I saw the video this morning, the 4/19/23, I clicked on it hesitantly. But I was mostly just wanting to say, okay, it's a check-in. Let's see how he's doing. So I hadn't seen anything in a while. And when I watched the video, the first thing I noticed was he was calm. His skin color, his face looked better. His eyes were brighter. He looked well rested. He definitely wasn't in fight or flight mode, which seems to be where he was staying over through the winter, which was really struggling to see because, he's always been super nice to me. So it was hard to see him consistently being dumped on. And it was hard to try to be a voice of reason because everybody wanted to also dump on somebody else. So it was just a toxic scenario there for a while. But he looked good. Hey, Hillbilly Lives. Yeah, I've been like MIA for a while with my health issues and the husband's health issues, but I think we all needed it. I think we all needed a break. But when I saw that video, I clicked on it and he looked good. Like his face looked, it's been a few minutes. His face looked calmer. His eyes looked so much healthier. He looked so well rested. He looked like, and I told y'all, this is going to be an awakening period for him. It may be a rude awakening, but it's going to be an awakening period for him. And he's going to really have to go and dig into the closets of his mind and, revamp everything and question everything and reestablish boundaries and reestablish norms and look at things that he has learned that now he knows he learned incorrectly, or understands the backstory behind behaviors. It was going to be a very big awakening period for him. And that seems to be what has happened. I thought he looked great. I think he's kind of trying to find center again, and I think he's found it more so than anyone else. I don't know who Gail is. Gail is the aunt, I guess. And I don't know what's going on there, but he talked about everything that Gail had done for him in the video. So Gail, whoever you are, you're a superstar. You're an awesome person, Gail. Super mad respect for Gail for stepping up and helping him complete so many tasks that needed to be done at the home. It seems like he's kind of going through the people that are around him and sorting out who is a helper and who is a hindrance, which is a huge thing for someone that has fame and has money. So that's a good thing. I'm glad to see him doing that. Megan says, I think he wanted to do so much for his family, and doing that, the people around him got really greedy. I agree. I think that the first couple times that he helped them, it was unexpected, but then it became a consistency thing that they expected. And then when they stuck their hand out and he couldn't put anything immediately in it, they got angry. And then it built resentment, and then resentment breeds into other things. And kaboom, families can erupt so quickly. I'm a retired parole officer and retired counselor. So, families evolve. And they go through difficult periods. And I think this is probably one of one of his most difficult periods. I think losing his grandfather was very difficult because I think that was the person that kept him sane. That was the person that taught him life. So I think that's probably been his hardest time in life. But I think this has been his second hardest time in life. And it's because it shook the foundation of who he was. Because some stuff that he thought he knew and people that he thought he knew, he found out very quickly, I don't know them at all. And so it kind of shook his foundation. But he seems to be rebuilding and solidifying perfectly again. Now, sadly, he was talking about some of the videos and stuff put on the internet by other family members. And so I thought, well, I've not kept up with anybody. So today was like a brief check-in for me on everybody. And so I went and just did a brief little search, and I thought, So what I'm seeing in some of the other family members' behavior is some regression. Some people that are very mature are acting very immature. And regression is something that people kind of go to as a comfort zone when they don't have the skills they need to go up. They know that they have the comfort zone to go back down and be in a comfortable place and behave in this manner that has suited them and paid their emotional bills before. So they go back there. Even though they're losing 10 to 15 to 20 years of maturity and knowledge, they go back to that comfort space and they go into more of a juvenile mindset because they don't have either the resources or the knowledge to go forward and grow. And so I think I've been seeing a lot of regressive behavior from some family members, but I think Ron is trying to grow from this and move forward. Izzy, I hadn't heard that either. Justice, is it Justice? Yes, I'm blind. Justice said he's being sued by the Kylie Rodney family. I've said this forever. Like, everybody was so upset that he had an opinion, and everybody was saying that they were going to cause a stir. But I said the only people that can come after him are the family. And then they would, and by default, this family kind of became a public figure because of a national news story. So it's probably going to be a very difficult court case for them to pursue, and it will probably end up settling out of court because that's just probably what they want to do. That's probably why they started it. But it's going to be very difficult for a judge to see either of them as anything other than public personas because of the national news story and because of Upchurch's world that he lives in. So, but, everybody was like, well, these people need to sue. These people need to sue. I'm like, look, the only people that can come after him are Kylie Rodney's family, and they must show financial or emotional harm that has basically imploded their life. And that's, as someone is a public persona, that's very difficult to establish. And sadly, even if you're not like a star, if you've had a very widely digested news story, national news coverage, then it puts you in that platform as a public image. And so it's very hard for people to prove anything like that. I have not watched the Gobble Gobble. He just irritates me. He's like a one-trick pony. It's like if he cannot get his way, then he wants to box somebody. And I'm like, at what age is that going to really finally hit him that it's inappropriate to physically revert to aggression to satisfy your need for power and dominance? It's like, that's, power and dominance is great, but it's not normally how you resolve things. Normally it's meeting someone in the middle, and being compassionate and saying, we have to live on the same planet. We have to share this same society. We have to, have some kind of working relationship. How do we move forward? And boxing, it's like, woo, hello, mister. Yeah, they're going to have a very hard time coming after him. It's very hard to show damages like that when you're put on that platform. I sat in court and listened to trials for, a decade or more, and saw one defamation suit ever go through. And that was basically because a business had been taken down completely by someone. So it's very difficult. And basically it's going to suck up probably they want to suck up lawyer money and get him to reimburse lawyer money and just settle out of court, so they pocket some cash, and and probably that's what's going on. Now, take it as a grain of salt. That's just my opinion, but that's kind of what I always saw when I was going to court. Oh yeah, everything. Your whole closet will become bare to the world when you go for a defamation lawsuit. And so yeah, you better be willing to show yourself plumb naked in front of God, Jesus, and everybody, because the person you're going after, you're going to lay them open, but you're also going to have to bare yourself. So it's uncomfortable for everyone in the scenario. So yeah, slander and defamation cases are normally based on a loss of money, and that's very difficult for some people to actually show. So they start out with what they think is a very strong case, and then as they go on, they realize that it wasn't as strong as they thought. But most of the time, they don't actually want it to go, to get before the judge or anything. They actually just want to cause an uproar to settle out of court. Is normally what a basis for a slander case is. Sadly, that's just, we live in a very litigious society, and people like to use the courts like an ATM. Ashley says that every time Ronnie sees me in a chat, he keeps telling me he's going to bring me some donuts. Okay. Hey, Ronnie, I'm a fat girl. I'll take a donut if you deliver. Be a long delivery, but I'll take a donut if you deliver. Hey, buddy, I'm here. Megan says he not only paid them to find her. Yeah, I know. That family put up a missing person finder's fee. Yeah, and never paid it. Yeah. There's a lot of questionable behavior around that whole case. For me, no one came out smelling like a rose. Not the popo, not the search and rescue teams, nobody. Because for me, and I know regulation protocol, everyone danced around what they were supposed to be doing, and nothing felt right from the get-go on that case. And that's just my opinion and my perspective, and I'm allowed to have it. Something stunk. And so I'm not the least bit really worried about that for him. I think, he has money and will pay a good attorney, and that will probably just kind of flake off. Because honestly, you have to really be willing to lay yourself bare if you're going to try to tear somebody else apart in the courtroom, because the judge is going to want to know everything about everybody, and he will get any information he wants. So be ready to have your phone records and your closet going through, because the judge is going to subpoena everything. And maybe they'll get some answers that way. Who knows? Maybe they'll figure something out that way. Maybe the family or somebody that had some kind of entanglement will be found out that way. Maybe a positive will come from it. We can only hope. That was a bad scenario. But I'm really proud of Ron, because it's been a few months and he seems to be going forward and going back to a foundation of solid, down home country, don't get above your raisin. And sometimes absence is easier than disrespect, and you have to pick. And so he's chosen to have the absence of these people rather than to have their disrespect in his world. You have to make those decisions sometimes. And it sucks, and it's not enjoyable for anyone, and the whole family suffers, but it's necessary sometimes to find a level of sanity where you can live and not feel like you're being pulled apart by people that see you. Sadly, I think his family kind of learned to see him as a persona rather than as their family member, and that's sad. Hey, Southern, how you doing, Southern Hell? I haven't seen you forever. Megan, I haven't followed it for a few months. I just had to walk away. It just got way too fake, sicko, weird, toxic for me. It just got too high school. And I was like, these people don't want to fix anything. They just want to attack. And they want to attack anybody. And peace out. I'm not for that. But when I see Ron rebuilding and really looking at these things, and you can tell he's had some very big conversations with himself, with his ego, and he's looking at it not from just his perspective, but he's like, look at the other people that are famous that have also gone through similar things. So he's not stuck on himself. He's saying a lot of people go through this. I also have to deal with this, and I want to deal with it in a better way because other people didn't always deal with it in the best ways. And he doesn't want to have a tragic ending like other superstars that went through issues like this. So he's having those conversations with himself where he's thinking forward, and he's going, I really have to secure my life, pare it down, and make sure that the people that are here for the right reasons. And I'm proud of him for that. That's a big deal, you know. And then, you know, whatever needs to go through court or be handled, just let it go through court, you know. Um, but emotionally, I think he's getting back to center, you know. And the other stuff can go through court and get figured out. I'm not worried about that. You know, if somebody stole money, did something illegal, go through court. Go through court. Don't want to talk about that. But emotionally, I'm proud of him because he's moving forward and he's not in fight or flight. He's not responding to the triggers and the behaviors that they want to trigger within him. He's learned some of his triggers and he's learned how they've kind of led him by the nose a little bit. And he is really trying to not be like an emotional hostage and being played. Life is a big chess game, especially when you are famous and have money. So I think he learned a lot and grew a lot. And like I said before, he was famous when he was a teenager. So he has gaps in some of his social, you know, behaviors and context clues that are different from people that, you know, grew up without fame. Even though he's still a down home country boy, he was famous. And so his world was augmented enough to where he may have some gaps in there. And so in some ways, he's older than a lot, you know, than he should be. And in some ways, he's still younger than he should be. And so there's a little bit of like a little gap area in there that he's kind of had to grow and mesh together. Because life was interrupted at a very odd time for him at that age where he's going through a lot chemically, hormonally, emotionally, and then boom, add fame onto it. And then he grew up in front of everybody. That's not easy. It's not easy at all. And then to have your family fall apart in front of everybody. And no one wants to look at it. Like I was like, look at this for red flags in your own family. Stop worrying about his family. He's putting all this out there trying to be open, not to trigger you all or to like create animosity, but to say, this is how effed up families can be. Take care of you. And so I was like, you know, let's use this educationally to look at our own families and say, do I have any red flags? Do we need to beef up communication? Is there an issue? And people didn't want to hear it. Now people are ready to hear it. And sadly, I don't think I really have the energy with my health and stuff and the time to really give it justice, you know, with the topic, you know, and how it needs to be spoken about. But I think he's grown so much, and in some sad ways, and in others in happy ways. And I think he's going to be a much calmer, less reactive Ron, which is going to help him in his chess game in life. And it's going to help him maneuver around people that do like to emotionally manipulate you and create maladaptive behaviors and maladjustment periods in your life so that they can manipulate you. I think he's figured that one out. I hope. So he seems to have centered and kind of gone back inward and reflected. And I got kind of worried there when he got kind of ego talking back in the winter with all the Elvis and the, you know, because he had to compartmentalize a lot more than a healthy person should during the winter to get through all of this. And at one point I thought, oh dear, he's over compartmentalized and now he's going to lose touch with himself and he's going to completely become a persona. Oh God, I hope that doesn't happen. And it doesn't seem like it did. So I'm very proud of him for that as well. Because it's very easy to put on that shell of that persona and that public figure and not handle the emotional crap. And just use your money to distract yourself and not handle it. He literally, I think, is pared down, gone back to just bare ass roots and said, I'm going to handle my shit. Sorry, I can be rude. And I think that is like the best thing that he could have done. And so I'm just really proud of him. And I saw that, and it's sad to watch. It's sad that anyone has to go through this. It's sad that any family goes through this, not let alone just a famous person. Any family is going to be hurting through this. But I'm very proud that he has maneuvered through this as well as he has, because at many times I thought this is just an implosion waiting to occur. And so, you know, I always tell you all honestly how I feel, and I was concerned there for a couple months. I was concerned with what some word choices, some behaviors he was talking about, and some of the responsive, reactive behaviors that I was seeing. I was very concerned, and I just had to take a break from it because it was just too much. And so when I hesitantly clicked on that video this morning, I was like, oh, I hope this is not bad. And I was pleasantly surprised. I think he has centered and is going to be doing well. So if I'm proud of him, I'm going to come on here and say I'm proud of him. And I'm proud. Ryan, I'm proud of you. And I know I probably irritated the snot out of you this winter when I did my videos, but I was very concerned. And that was a very dangerous area for a family to fall into. And I saw it for what it was, which was hurt, pain, and toxicity for everyone. It was not going to leave anyone untouched. There's going to have to be a whole reformation of this family, and I think we're seeing that now, and I think Ryan is healthier for seeing that. But man, it's painful sometimes to have those awakenings in life. It's very, very painful. Yeah, it's hard for me to watch too, and I kind of cut. That's why I kind of cut all of it out. I still try to listen to the music and support the music because the music never fails us. His music is always top notch, and I love his lyrics. And I like to see how he puts his words together and his melody and the beats and the syncopation and stuff. I like how his brain ticks that way. So I'll always listen to the music, and I'll always be a fan, and I'll always have this boy's back and want to see him do well. But there for a little while as a fan, I had to say, I can't do this anymore. It's just too toxic. I can't play this. I can't. I left high school a long time ago. Don't want to go back. And it just felt like high school. And I was just like, y'all, I love myself way too much to put myself in this position, and it's just like I can't steep in somebody else's crap. It's just not right. So, and what I was trying to say to help people, no one wanted to hear it because no one wanted to help anybody. They just wanted a brawl. And it was like, y'all, we don't need to have a brawl. We need to figure this out. So now that everybody's moving forward, it looks like a much healthier thing. Now, I did also check Bethany Michelle's Instagram, and it seems like she's been doing a lot of reminiscing and rethinking and soul searching as well. And y'all, I don't know. I've talked to Ryan just a couple of quick times. I don't know Bethany from anybody, but I really liked Bethany in the fact that she was so under the radar, down low, wasn't taking over his world, wasn't creating problems, and I liked that she knew him before he was famous, that they had a background together. And I was sad to see them break up, and I'm wondering if maybe it wasn't just all the animosity that created an issue also in their relationship, and if maybe they will revisit this and talk about it at some point, just for closure for themselves, maybe. Yeah, Megan, I get the same vibe. I feel like she is a very sweet little thing, and if it's not right for them, it's not right. But I think that they both deserve a healthier closure from whatever occurred. It's not my business, but I feel like they have something unsaid that needs to be said to each other. And I hope that they find that closure. And if they're not going to try it again, or they're not going to revisit that, I hope that they get that out of the way so that they can move forward in their own lives and have that closure. But I was just really proud to see that he's handling it so much better than I had feared he was, because I really was so concerned. So concerned. And like I said, I'm going to be watching very close for the next 6 to 8 months. I said about a year earlier, 8 to 10 months. Now I'm looking at 6 to 8 months down the road. If he can get through the next 6 to 8 months without having another huge cycle hiccup, blimp off the radar and spin out into the ether, then we know he has made his improvements, cut the people that were creating the toxicity and the cyclical behavior in his life out, and he's moving forward. If he has another big kaboom moment, then he knows he has more work to do on himself. So the next 6 to 8 months will show everyone a lot, and it will help him also understand himself more. and say, okay, well, I've done a lot of improvement. If I'm still having certain problems, I still have more work to do. So I think he's just going to keep on growing from this. I don't think he's somebody that's going to sit on the unhappiness for too long. He's going to, clean your proverbial horse stall in your head, in your heart, and get rid of the poop and, start over. So I'm happy that he's moving forward. I'm happy that he's doing so well because I really was concerned for him this year. Megan, absolutely, yeah. They were a dynamic duo, and that's that hurts. Oh, is he live right now? Okay, well, I'll let y'all go watch him then, and I might go see what's going on. But y'all, I'm so proud of him, and I hope he keeps going this way, and I hope he keeps paring down the people in his life to make sure they're there for the right reasons, and he keeps this quieter lifestyle because it looks good on him. It looks good on him. All right, y'all go watch. I'll see you later. Thanks for visiting. Bye, guys.